Beauty and the Beast is directed by Bill Condon, and this movie stars Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Ian McKellen, Kevin Kline. The cast is so long I'll probably be here for 5 minutes just naming all of them. And this is the newest Disney live-action remake of one of their classic tales from 1991. In the past we've had Maleficent, Peach Dragon, The Jungle Book, and Cinderella. And this version of the story is pretty much identical to the original. There's no big plot twist or any real changes to this tale that they've made. So just in case you're not familiar with this story, it follows a prince who's been cursed with being transformed into a beast. And all of the people who live in his castle have been cursed along with him and turned into objects like candlesticks, clocks, and teacups. And the only way he can break this curse is if he finds true love. A young girl named Belle may be his only chance at breaking this curse when she happens upon his castle, and as they spend more and more time with each other, they both find that true beauty is found from within. I was actually really looking forward to this movie, and usually that's a rarity when it comes to these Disney live-action remakes. Pretty much the only great one that we've had so far is The Jungle Book. The reason I was particularly excited for this one is because I love the music and the story of Beauty and the Beast, and also when I heard Emma Watson was cast as Belle, I was really interested to see how that choice would turn out. It's very easy to be cynical about a movie like this. Last time I checked, it wasn't getting the best reviews, and in some respects I can understand that because you can look at this film and just see it as a cheap rehash of an old Disney movie with a ton of CGI, and just look at it as a film that contributes to the unoriginality of Hollywood these days. Or you can judge this movie simply for what it is and what it's trying to do. And if you do that, I think you'll really enjoy this film. I had a great time with Beauty and the Beast, and I honestly think it's one of the best Disney live-action retellings of a princess story that we ever had. It's not quite as good as The Jungle Book, but in terms of that genre, I think it's one of the best of its kind. The best thing about this movie is the fact that it feels like it was handled with care, and that the creative team wanted to do a remake that still captured the magic of the original while also making it feel modernized and new. I'm a huge fan of Emma Watson. She's a terrific actress and I loved her work in the Harry Potter films, but even outside of that film, she's actually given some pretty great performances in things like Perks of Being a Wallflower. I wasn't convinced that she was the right choice for this character though, because I didn't know if she had the charisma and the personality to play a character like Belle, and the trailers didn't really sell me on her acting. I was dead wrong. She killed it in this movie. This was such a great casting decision because I didn't realize how similar their personalities are. They're both strong, fierce, independent young women. They're both obsessed with books, and it just seems like a perfect fit. Also, Luke Evans as Gaston knocked it out of the park in this movie. He has the perfect amount of brash cockiness, and he was just very entertaining throughout the film. Josh Gad as LeFou is also a great side character, and I loved his chemistry with Gaston. The character of the Beast provides my first big flaw with this film, and you probably know what I'm going to say here. Yes, the fact that he's completely CGI is very distracting, and it somewhat takes away this movie's sense of awe and magic, because you know you're looking at something that isn't real. It's not bad visual effects at all, and Dan Stevens' performance is pretty good, but I wish they would have done something practical with this character and used CGI more to enhance it. The use of visual effects doesn't always work here, and it's by far the biggest thing about this film that takes away its magical feeling. There's a pretty fake looking green screen here and there, and some shots that are completely CGI, and that really takes me out of the movie when I'm trying to get immersed in a realistic storybook world that feels real and lived in. On the other side of things, the household object characters in this film, like Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Miss Potts, they looked really good in this movie, and I would venture to say there were times where I thought they looked real. They're also just really fun characters, and I also think that Ian McKellen as Cogsworth was a perfect choice. He's great in this movie. Another important component of this movie is the music. And in terms of the sequences themselves, I think they were really well handled and all of them are beautifully shot, especially the opening number. It perfectly established Belle, and it was just a ton of fun. But the music itself isn't the best because there are times when it feels like Emma Watson's voice was put through a computer or Luke Evans was auto-tuned. It just doesn't feel as organic as something like La La Land. And I guess I can let that slide for the most part because if you have a cast that's not used to singing and performing, they're gonna need the help of some like digital vocal tuning and voice enhancers. But again, it just goes back to my point about being immersed in this world. I have a hard time placing myself in a storybook world that's supposed to feel lived in and realistic if there's all these things that make it feel artificial. Also, really quickly, I want to talk about this film's finale. If you don't know this story, I'm not going to go in depth here, but the way the climax was resolved, I thought could have been handled so much better, and I just didn't feel the emotional weight of the scene because I think it was too rushed. If they had given this scene a little bit more time, I probably would have been cool with it. So the visuals aren't always spot on, the finale's a bit rushed, and there are times where the music can feel a bit artificial, But other than that, I don't really have any other flaws with this film. This is a remake that captures the heart and beauty of the original, no pun intended. This film is a very faithful adaptation of what the original animation from 1991 is, and I think if you're going into this movie and you know what it is and what it's going for, you're gonna have a great time with it. I'm gonna give Beauty and the Beast an 8 out of 10. It's a film with a lot of pros and cons that kind of balance each other out, but you just have to look at it for what it is. And as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the best Disney live-action remakes that we've had. So guys, I have been playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild like crazy lately. Hopefully I'll have a review up by the end of next month. The game's taking me forever, it's really long. But anyway, so look forward to that. And also, I'm gonna start watching Iron Fist today. Hopefully I'll do a review next week. So anyway, you can look forward to those videos. And by the way, have you seen Beauty and the Beast? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.